10 years ago, sending two different video resolutions to two different places at the exact same time, it required this massive rack of gear weighing like 50 pounds and costing 10 grand.
Oh, yeah, just an absolute nightmare to transport.
Right. But today, it's being done by this little 7-inch device that costs less than a decent laptop.
Yeah, it's wild. The miniaturization of broadcast processing has just completely inverted how we build studios now. We are moving away from those massive hardware racks toward, well, these highly integrated iron devices.
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at the Bolin Technology N7-220XW N-Series PTZ camera, and this is based on technical specs we pulled from HDTVSupply.
Right.
Our mission today is to discover exactly what makes a $1,395 camera the quote-unquote gold standard for Pro AV, studio, and live production.
And whether you are actively wiring up a broadcast control room or maybe upgrading a church live stream, or you're just incredibly curious about high-end AV tech, this deep dive will show you just how much power fits into such a small footprint.
Exactly. So let's start with the immediate technical hurdle, which is output. Normally, a camera captures an image and sends it out one pipe.
Right, but modern productions require local monitoring and remote streaming at the very same time.
Which brings us to the back panel. It has HDMI, 3G SDI, USB, and IP ports. People love calling this kind of setup an AV Swiss Army knife because of the flexibility, but honestly, that's a bit of a lazy cliche.
Yeah, totally overused.
Right. Mechanically, it's really more like a highly skilled bilingual translator who can listen to one speech and just simultaneously translate it into two different languages.
Oh, like that.
At two different speeds for two different audiences without ever pausing. Bolin actually calls this true dual output.
And what's fascinating here is the internal architecture required to pull that off. True dual output means the camera's internal processor is utilizing dedicated parallel encoding pipelines.
Wow, so it's rendering a pristine, uncompressed baseband video feed out of the HDMI port for your local monitors.
Exactly, while simultaneously compressing a completely different IP stream, say, at a lower frame rate and resolution to send out over the network.
That's a lot of processing.
It is, and it handles that heavy computational load internally without melting the chipset, entirely eliminating the need for external downscaling hardware.
But here's where it gets really interesting, because the specs tout this Sony 1/2.8 type CMOS sensor outputting at 1080p 60. Got to push back on the hype a bit here.
Okay, go for it.
A 1/2.8 sensor is physically small. In a brightly lit TV studio, sure, it looks great. But if you throw this into a dimly lit church or a moody concert venue, small sensors inherently struggle to capture light right.
They introduce noise.
Exactly. A fancy dual output doesn't matter at all. The core image is a grainy mess.
Well, that is the physical limitation of any sensor that size, which is exactly why the processing layer has to compensate. This camera integrates a color matrix directly into the HTML5 web UI.
Wait, really? Right in the browser?
Yeah. Instead of just bumping up the master brightness, which creates that terrible electronic snow we all hate.
Oh yeah, the worst.
An operator can isolate and apply targeted gain and hue adjustments to specific colors. Red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, and yellow. You literally manipulate the color science to rescue the low-light image before it ever hits the encoder.
That is wild. And speaking of hitting the encoder, let's talk about the actual chaos of live delivery. The camera features SRT, or Secure Reliable Transport, alongside NDI HX3.
Right, and everyone knows NDI sends video over local networks, but HX3 takes a fraction of the bandwidth of earlier iterations.
But my real question is about SRT. Say an operator is stuck on a notoriously unstable public network at a crowded convention center. How does a protocol actually stop a live broadcast from being a stuttering mess?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, standard video streams use protocols that basically blindly fire data at a destination. If packets of data get lost in network traffic, the video stutters.
Right, you get that digital tearing effect.
Exactly. But SRT changes the mechanics. It utilizes a highly tuned UDP-based packet recovery mechanism. It essentially creates a buffer handshake between the camera and the destination.
So if a packet drops,
SRT detects the gap and requests a resend in milliseconds. It's totally invisible to the viewer. It corrects the network's failures in real time while securely bypassing complex firewalls.
So what does this all mean? It means we are looking at a fundamental shift in broadcast economics.
Absolutely. This device delivers top-tier studio resilience, Advanced internal processing, granular color correction, and aggressive network error recovery, all at a previously impossible price point.
The physical footprint of a broadcast is shrinking, while the mathematical capabilities of the edge devices are expanding.
Yeah, the industry is just moving so incredibly fast.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to chew on.
Yeah.
If broadcast-quality PTZ cameras with built-in remote network security and automated packet recovery are now this accessible and affordable, will the traditional, heavily staffed multi-camera TV studio soon be entirely replaced by a single person controlling everything from a laptop browser hundreds of miles away? Something for you to think about the next time you watch a live event.